This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. It is Rey Skywalker Sunday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after we chant the first quarter of the meditation classic Vast Space of Vajrasattva, composed oh so many centuries ago by Prahe Vajra. The vast space of Vajrasattva, the all good expanse of the field of reality. This is an all-releasing and pure modality, uncreated, unceasing, and unthinking. Loving kindness is already consummate, so compassion is not pursued. Supremely vast and deep, no quality exists to acclaim. Intentions unstirring from their own nature, through non-action or released and activate release. Unseeking. So let's go back, and this is really fascinating. So consider, if you will, a chain reaction, a fission chain reaction. This is what's being inferred here, that the more we notice as we breathe in and relax as we breathe out, the easier it becomes to notice the antics of mind and to relax into its non-graspable nature. Let's continue. Unseeking self-sprung awareness, liberating reveals the modality of release. Vajrasattva is the great elements, intrinsically present in all beings. Even though false notions obsess us, releases self-sprung but only in him. So, just as every being is composed of components, similarly, every sentient being possesses the wetware, the hardware, with which to notice and relax in harmony with our breathing. Together, exalted, pristine awareness so elusive can be accomplished through means and insights. Although these appear as supported extraneous fiction, real pleasure arises only spontaneously. The sublime magical illusion is easy to find through a subtle understanding of actuality, of all potential and potency. It instantly emerges by itself. The invisible nature of reality fills the mind when searching stops, stressing about the what and the wherefore inhibits its spontaneous arising. So, the path of contrivance will take us many places, but enlightenment is not one of them. The Buddha's path is paved with the attributes of being. The ideal mindfulness is vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleeting. This hermetically sealed reality cannot be transmitted from mouth to the ear, and neither has the tongue the power to express a bit of it. One is not to master the Buddha's path through blind faith, nor does one master the Buddha's path through pseudo-intellectual gymnastics. The Buddha's path of enlightenment is eightfold. Its final two folds are mindfulness and meditation. We are wired to practice mindfulness meditation during each inhalation and exhalation respectively. All we need to do is get out of our own way and take a relaxing break from the exhausting habit of actively competing against our own autonomic nervous system, to cooperate with it passively. Do that, and one cannot help but master this eightfold path in as little as 7 days. The suffering of beings is bodhicitta, and fully awaken it is song and dance. Unstirring and movable like infinite space, suffering is sameness. What does that mean? As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sensation. Mastering mindfulness does not mean we no longer perceive pain. It means we get really, really good at dealing with it. We get so good that we're able to deal with it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. We tend to interpret congruous distinctions as karmic relationship. Inasmuch as karma holds sway, self-strong awareness is lacking. We can think of Buddhism as fitting in two categories. The big category would be institutional Buddhism. Cue the Imperial March. The smaller category would be Proto-Buddhism. Cue John Williams' Force theme, or Binary Sunset. Institutional Buddhism provides a path that is very difficult and very slow. Proto-Buddhism provides a path that is very quick and very easy. Institutional Buddhism has promises of reward and threats of punishment. Proto-Buddhism does not. It just has the Eightfold Path. And in the Eightfold Path, there is no mention of karma. But there is mention of love. In fact, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, and even kindness of commerce. You hear that, Wall Street? Kindness of commerce. No room for a hostile takeover over here. So, karma is about the duality of punishment and reward. The highest love, however, is the spontaneous, the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of simply cooperating with our natural wetware to notice and relax in harmony with our breathing. The so-called the only condition is immutable, and never originating, it can never be destroyed. This timeless primordial pure essence of mind. Speculative thought forms cannot affect basic spaciousness. So, every time we relax into our exhalation, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel a trifle less stressful, a little bit less permanent, a little bit less defining, even a little bit less solid. This does not exist because we earned it, or we believed it, or we understood it. This phenomenon exists simply as a fortunate byproduct of evolution. And by cooperating with this natural process, we can find ourselves more loving and more peaceful. Concentration in its finest form is non-reflective in its very nature. As unreflected, unaltered experience, pristine awareness arises in thought itself. Active concentration does more harm than good. Passive awareness is the key to enlightenment. Active concentration relies on a specific area of the front of our brain that can sometimes be described as the medial prefrontal cortex. Passive awareness relies upon the middle bit of our spinal cord, described as the hub of our sympathetic nervous system. These are opposite parts or points within our central nervous system. Now, a common fear is this, that we'll stop thinking. That's not a worry. The sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path is right effort, also known as effortless effort, also known as doing without doing, also known as Wu Wei, or going with the flow, or being in the zone. The more we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, the more our choices and our utterances and our deeds will flow, not from contrived calculation, nor from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. That ensures that we use all the organelles of our central nervous system in the most sustainable way. Consider, if you will, a scientific concern. Everybody who works there in the laboratory has a PhD. Not all PhDs earn Nobel Prizes. What separates a newly minted PhD from a Nobel laureate? The degree to which they can use their whole central nervous system. Perhaps that is why Albert Einstein insisted that creativity was intelligence at play. Some identify luminous mind as a subtle door, seeking a way to isolate it. They focus on the voidness of the mind stream. If it is contrived, it is conceptual meditation. Institutional Buddhism, patriarchy, it's all about elitism and contrivance and rigidity, and it cannot help make things more difficult. Proto-Buddhism, matriarchy, it's about efficiency and ease. Nothing is forced. Remember, the Buddha taught that one could master his path in as little as 7 days. We don't need 7 decades or 7 lifetimes or 7 kalpas, just a week. Some believe that by designating cause and effect, both virtue and vice are clearly defined, and the mundane world is transcended. However, so-called moral discrimination is duality's supreme presumption. The late Karma Chakme taught that the essence of morality is nonviolence. Perhaps that is why 50% of the Buddha's eightfold path of enlightenment pertains only to love. Excuse me. Having completed our opening recitation. Let us now shift gears. Let us sit comfortably. As we breathe in, we are already wired to notice the antics of mind, its perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. All of them, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. Every time we exhale, we are wired to relax into mind's nature. What is that like? Every time we relax in cooperation or in coordination with our exhalation, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel, even just a little bit, less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and as non-graspable as the sky, which, although is visible, defies grasping. The moment you have a specific question, do not hesitate to type your question in, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about every 6 minutes or so. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Adjust the legs. The most efficient way to gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce at the crown of our head is for us to use the tip of our left index finger to support the lower knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. In addition to this, we could touch the tip of our left thumb, the lowest set of creases on its little finger. That's how we keep track of our first set of 12 inhalations. Every time we inhale and silently and mentally recite the verb noticing, we could advance our right thumb up the creases of each of its fingers. Let's do this together right now. Having used the last crease on my right index finger, it's time to advance my left thumb to its next set of creases. And now you get the basic idea of how we can count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each as we feel our air enter and leave our nostrils. Checking for questions. Checking for questions. Checking for questions. All right. Having completed our first collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations each, we can begin our second collection. And to keep track of that second collection, the tip of our left index finger can support not the first knuckle of our right index finger, but the second knuckle. As we breathe in through our nostrils, we can silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. As we breathe out through our nostrils, we can silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Checking for questions. Let us energetically shift gears. One of the most efficient ways for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our chest. Let's see, it looks like I'm listing. If I turn it this way, does it look like I'm listing? Tough to tell. Tough to tell. Okay, anyway, the most efficient way to gently invite our subtle energies to coalesce in our chest is twofold. Number one, we can use the tip of our left middle finger to support the lower knuckle of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. The second method is that as we feel our chest swell with breath, silently and mentally, we could recite the verb noticing. As we feel our chest subtly sink, as gently we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.